Well, good evening. I'm your host, Robert Wilson, with Cowboy Wisdom Hypnoacuity, presenting 7 ways why I feel equal. I had to admit today and realize I feel equal to everything and everybody. That liberates me from me, my viewpoints, opinion, beliefs, and ancestor programming. That is something I really want to show the world is we still live our ancestor programming because we allow the people with the wealth, we think means they have the wealth and they're in the powers and they're in the power positions of life. They know what's good for us. That's a lie. It always has been, always will be. As our ancestor programming told us to listen to other people rather than listen, question, and image our inspirations to experience our desired lifestyle. And see if you, and I really opened up to this. We live our ancestor programming today because we're always looking for somebody to do something, and we think people like we elect politicians. We think they're going to do something for us. They're going to do nothing for us. The only way you rise in life is you open up to that entertaining, enterprising wizardry within you. Because as soon as they hit that business school, the professors and their arrogance and the third world enslaving mindsets of business, they're trying to see what they can screw you out of, basically. But people are the assets of the world. And we encompass the wisdom, insight, and clarity to experience our dreams as we realize and unleash our acumen, agility, abilities, and audacity to open our vanguard eyes to view the world as peace and prosperity with a prosperous party, realizing and feeling. See, we never feel equal. And that's something I expanded into is feeling equal because I was picked on in school. I basically was bullied. My parents, we had challenges. We had financial challenges. And the arrogance of people is always wanting to pick on people that have some out of the ordinary circumstances going on in their life. And then they start picking on them, and pretty soon the insecurities, immaturity, fears control their life. And they never open up to realize their own abilities. And this is something this is my niche in this, is showing the people the way I expanded out of that. I didn't change it. I rose, shine, energize, and expand out of it. And you are equal to everybody. Money is a material chattel with a egotistical prominence to it. We let the egotistical arrogance of people we think that know a lot, or they have money, or they're in a wealthy position. We think they know a lot. They know a lot, but they understand nothing. So this is about feeling equal with everybody. As I'm awakened to understand, feeling equal communicates away victimitis, crapitis. Once you never feel equal, you play the victim card. And if you listen to the media today, and I've listened to a lot of the WNBA and stuff, now that's victimitis, crapitis. There is no privilege in the world. People energize their privilege with their core candor and their campaigners' gumption. Come from within here. But that victimitis, crapitis, that you think you're owed something or you have reparations coming, that's a flat out lie. It's time this world rises and shines and gets out of the whirlpool of insecurity, immaturity, fear, hate, jealousy, because we never felt equal to anybody. And that's a lie. That is a fallacy. So when you never feel equal within yourself, we start comparing ourselves to others. We compare our wealth, the material chattels, everything. And when we don't have the same physical of the world, we think we're we don't belong or we're insecure. I did. Hell yes, I did. I like to say I was a tough guy. It didn't bother me a bit. That's the biggest lie I've ever told. And this is my niche. What I'm going to show people is with a now lingo and a liberating lingo, you can rise out of it. I grew up in a competitive thinking mind, but I grew up what I thought was competitive was a selfish thinking mind and stubborn knowing and too hard-headed to admit to myself this is what's going on. So then, as soon as I realized I was into competitive thinking, I was criticizing, ridiculing me internally because I don't have what that guy has, and they don't have this, and they have that. Well, here's the thing. What I discovered. I encompassed the get and go to go get it. But I felt it was handed to them. It should be handed to me. That is the biggest deceiving lie I've ever told myself. See, the one you lie to in the world is yourself. You don't lie to the world, you lie to yourself. And then that caused my fear-based thinking, selfish knowing, and thinking learning the world is against me because I don't have what somebody else has. That's feeling inequality. Now I admit my childhood created my poverty consciousness, feeling lack, never feeling equal to people because they had material chattels and I actually had a different energy and I had a more innovative energy. And I never fit in because their world was too mundane for me. People that are highly intuitive and have a unique mystique, they're always going to be outcast in a material chattel world because they're above it. When you don't fit into something or you feel like you're left out, you need to get into a higher vibration of people. The educated people are in a mundane pain of life. They think they're really doing something, but all they're doing is embellishing the school system and the college knowledge. There's not intuition in there. When somebody says spirit, intuition, imagination, and they use the word think and know, that's a fallacy. Because as soon as you think and know, you're in yesterday. Intuition, listening, inspiration, questioning chauffeur you through the now. Something else, I've got a new class coming out. It's called Now Lingo. I don't have it today. I have a now day. That's what this feeling equal is. It allows you to develop things that are unique to you that'll rise you through there. My liberating lingo and my now lingo rises people out of yesterday. And something else, education feels insecure when questioned from somebody outside of the education. They get arrogant and standoffish right away. Very few educated people can have a conversation with a craftsman or a tradesman because they got to go into that education. And the thing about being a tradesman, craftsman, rancher, you have a calming way you can communicate through wisdom rather than a medicated, educated book that hooks you in yesterday. The more I awaken to this, the more I understand education is a medicated, manipulated thinking and knowing from other people. And think about education. It hates being challenged by a tradesman, a craftsman, a mother, or anything, because I'm educated and you're not, and I kind of know everything. And that's the thing, they know everything but understand shit. You know, the more the people are going to rise this country out of the challenge it's in. And when you open up to that, you can rise above everything. And the self-education is called autodidactism. And that's being individualized education individualist directly comprehending the innovative wisdom of my daily life. But it's about being uh, individually wise. And you listen to the world to rise of your own dreamer's dexterity. But see, that's something I really understand. Education is all educated people usually are business, are the foremans or and they don't like to be challenged by the worker. That's what breaks companies. When the company thinks they're too educated for the worker, they have challenges. And how could people, they go through things, and if they listen to the people on the floor, they could save a lot of a hassle, but they like having to do a simple thing. They like to make it 30 pages long and drag it out for a week when it could be done in 5 hours. How's education stalled the world out in yesterday? And the less educated are more fluent in conversation about life, because education tries to put all their book knowledge in there, but it has no free flowing energy. That creates a blockage that never goes away. Because I taught myself, I learned from the education of other people. It makes me think I'm inferior because I didn't go to college. Well, all college is stringing out the limitations of life, because they never teach you how to live beyond the books, because the everyday life is never in a book. And when I did that and I first got into the working world, I felt inferior to an educated person. Then as my life went along, I kind of discovered they're smart, but they're never wise. That's something I liked about the old ranchers and farmers when I grew up in South Dakota and Wyoming. They were always fun to talk to because they always had a story, and they could tell you stuff in a story that really rose you out of it. As I admit, I learned from socialized thinking and knowing from ancestor programming. That is something I really understand as ancestor programming. And if you look at the world and witness it through silence, you're going to start seeing where the world actually has never risen out of yesterday. Because ancestor programming has an underlying third world enslaving mindset, and always trying to manipulate me and you into doing what they think and that they want us to do. And we start following that through like grade school all the way up. Then pretty soon we're waiting for somebody to show or tell us, rather than opening our eyes to witness the world as showing us a better way. That's what chaos and challenges are, is the world showing me a better way and showing me where I'm stuck in here. And I'm not stuck here. I'm stuck in the body. And that's something I really open up and understand. When people are trying to rise out of let's say, alcoholism or an addiction, it's the body. Because the body has the cravings. And the body controls my head. I've caught myself doing that many times. And the inner dialogue, he's a con artist. Mine's a con artist. I catch him all the time, and I have to kind of tell him, because you're never going to get a positive inner dialogue, because it's going to fluctuate back and forth from where you've been and to where you're going. So an enslaving mindset manipulates my thinking, knowing, and daily behaviors with my insecure habits and immature way of life. See, you'll never think and know your way out of fear or any insecurity or anything in the past. You got to question it, listen it, and manipulate and communicate it away, and communicate a fresh way of life. But you do it through inspiration, wisdom, and your daily life. See, what everybody's wanting to avoid in personal growth, self-help, is their daily life. Your daily life will liberate you from you. Because life is a liberating invitation, fostering and emancipating events and encounters that will allow you to question you, to move your life forward, and to enjoy life. And we all have an insecure habit. Oh, I'm not going to do that because I've never done that before. I'm good at that. Then you react, and then I react to my daily events and encounters and experiences from my habits and my ingrained way of life in my subconscious mind. Because my daily events right now trigger my subconscious frozen in mind, emotions, feelings, images, and descriptive representations of my life. And when that descriptive image happens here, I go into the way I've always handled life. I catch myself doing that, the little booger. It just likes laughing at me. When I start going into my panic fanatic and saying, oh my God, nah, nah, nah. Next thing you know, it's laughing at me in here. And then you have to say, okay. But if you have the courage to question everything going on in your daily life, you'll liberate yourself from your past and you will stop being a servant to the past. And anything you think is out here in the outside world, or the outside world owes you something, or somebody should do something for you, that's your insecurities, inequalities, and controlling you. Controlling your thinking and inner landscape, and it's creating here. And you listen to somebody who says, well, the government needs to do something. Every dollar the government spends to help people without showing people the wisdom to rise is a waste of money, because they lose that gamer's gumption to energize their dreamer's dexterity. And something I really opened up to, and I've listened a lot lately, is if you watch the world, everybody thinks, well, the government's got to do it. The government's got to do it. No, see, that's the thing. That's the difference between the country in the 1800s and the country today. In the 1800s, you had to do it yourself and with the people in your community. Now, everybody's looking for something in the mailbox. This is funny. When South Dakota and the farmers were getting bailed out in the 80s or sometime, and they was really, they still are living quite handily off the government. And this one teacher asked this one boy, he says, what do you want to be when you grow up? He says, I want to be a farmer, because all I got to do is go to the mailbox, collect my checks, and I'm done. And that's the way the world is. And the way the kid said it and the way it is, because I grew up in the farming community. And it's not only farmers, it's everybody. But I just had that response, and that is funny. I'll just go to the mailbox to get my money. And that's what everybody wants to do. But the government, all the money the government gets comes from us. And something else I discovered, and I'm going to do a podcast on this. You know, everybody wants cheap products and things. But something you got to remember: a business has to have a solvent business. You live off the wages in the community. See, that's why they want us to pay us cheap, and then the corporations live off the government. They live off of us. We're actually paying for everything for them companies to move offshore. And see, that isn't all I'm saying is we people have the ingenuity and ability to rise and shine. And it's my fresh word, or it's a now word, autodidactism, the process of comprehending a path of enlightenment without a teacher or formal education, optimizing individualized wisdom to rise of dreamers' dexterity. And the world, even education is only a foundation, but the comprehending of the society and participating in your daily life liberates internal financial efficacy and freedom every day. So as I rose out of my socialized sheepocracy, thinking education, business, and people of wealth were playing an underlying enslaving mindset on me, and they were controlling me through what I thought, well, that guy, if I do this and this, that's good for them. Well, but the one I was leaving out was me. Because we're encompassed, and I said it earlier, an ancestor programming of, oh, this people knows. And the one that the ancestor programming leaves out is me. Because I realize the education system is a socialized, trained brain thinking and keeping me knowing that wealthy people have to know because they're there. Wealthy people have a wisdom, but they're never going to show you the wisdom. They're going to tell you they're going to do you good, so you keep helping them. And if you ever think education is for people, because to me, education teaches selfishness and negativity. And so when I rose out of that, I let go of the biggest lie I taught myself and thinking the school system and socialized followerocracy were going to do things for me. And they were telling me how to fit into controlling factions that were manipulating me as well. So I let all that go about 3 seconds ago. You always want to let go and communicate everything away in present moment. So I awakened to understand and admit material chattels are superficially feeding my egotistical arrogance. As I am awakened and aware of the dare to admit to me I am equal to everything and everybody of the universe, I now understand and communicate away my egotistical arrogance, understanding the egotistical arrogance of college education and the people that went to college, because they have this arrogance that they think they try to talk down. I'm a union electrician, but when it really comes down to, I have to lower myself down to talk. I have to lower my wisdom down to talk in their college knowledge. So as I rose out of that, stop letting that control me, I rise of my autodidactism. I can't pronounce that word, but it's individualized wisdom and comprehending the innovative wisdom of my day. As I now realize and admire, my spirit ushers in to me the events, the encounters, experiences, chaos, challenges, adversity, and controversy, and out of everywhere dares that awaken my daredevil activism of I call it my sovereign awareness to move forward, that embellishes my hellraiser's witted get and go to grab my daily adventures with listening, comprehending, and question, imaged inspirations, and an innovative intuition, and my adroit acumen, movie maker imagination, to ride my unique talents to my lush, relaxing lifestyle. Now and forevermore, I soar of sovereign optimism. It really comes down to me understanding I am equal to everybody, but it's my courage and audacity to rise and feel it in here and look people in the eye with a listener's audacity to understand if I listen, I can question them. And when they say something unique, I can question them to rise me out of yesterday. And with that, I'm going to understand 7 ways why I feel equal is because I am. equal to everything and everybody. And but I'm also experiencing my own unique talents and intuition and innovation to show for me through life with ease. And that's something I really want to express to people. Everything is done with ease. Anyway, I want to thank you, and we'll be here Monday night. And thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. And may your day and weekend be as blessed as you are a blessing to me in the world.